Welcome back to another episode of Alpha Access EverQuest Next Landmark. In today's episode, I'll introduce you to Zero Data Voxels. On top of that, I'll also show you how to make smooth designs and stencils with this technique. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome back. Today's episode is all about Zero Data Voxels, or Zoxels, or Zero Voxels? Well, the name of the technique is still up for debate, but for right now, the original creators are calling this Zero Data Voxels, and those guys are Addy and Spoodyman. They've got a forum post over on the Landmark forums. I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. And they've also got a video, which I'll also link for you guys as well. And they pretty much go over this technique pretty well, but there's a couple things I left out that I was scratching my head over. I want to share that with you guys as well. So this is going to be a little bit of a recap of their video and the technique. And I'm going to show you a couple extra steps you can do to get some really smooth designs with this. So let's dive right in. Alright, first things first. First thing you want to do is make sure you've cut out a decent chunk of your claim, because we're going to be using the heal tool. So if we take a look at the map real quick, you can see I dug out quite a huge chunk out of this hill to build my claim. So I've got plenty of area to work with here to use the heal tool and come up with stuff. So I'm just going to move this out of the way real quick, and then first thing you want to do is come in and select basically a canvas, if you will. Something that's decent for whatever design you're going for. This looks pretty good for what we're doing, so I'm going to come in with my heal tool, not the add tool. I'm going to go in with the heal tool. I'm going to make this a nice big chunk of healed canvas. Next thing you want to do is come in with your delete tool. And we're just going to start making a random design here. Whatever it is you're going after. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my add tool and fill this in with whatever material you're going for. I'm just going to use stucco for now. I'm going to come in with my selection tool. And I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. There we go, some sort of funky design. Now this isn't anything new. I mean, you could do this with just using the add tool and using the tweak mode. I almost said twerk mode, which isn't exactly the same thing. We can come up here, we can start building that same design one voxel at a time, or using our selection tool. I mean, that's nothing new. And we could build this same design with this technique as well, but there's a key difference. I'm going to show you guys what that is. Alright, the key difference with these Zero Data Voxels versus regular voxels is that the engine doesn't recognize them as having any sort of data. That means they are not going to meld or work with any other sort of voxel out in the world. So basically all this negative space here is going to be treated as empty air. And it may seem like that when you select something that is out in the world, but it isn't. So to quickly demonstrate this is something I made the exact same circle, exact same size that I made out in the world without using the heal tool and this Zero Data Voxel technique. So if I come over here and copy and paste this guy, I'm going to hit copy, and I'm going to come over here. I'm going to try to put this right in the middle of this pillar because I want a nice ring around this. Whatever it is I've made, I want to outline it. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Now if I hit paste, you can see what it did. The engine thought that the voxels in the middle, even though they look transparent to us, has some sort of data. So it overwrites this area and then it cuts away into our pillar. And we don't want that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back and I'm going to select our Zero Data Voxel design, which is this circle. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste. I'm going to come back over here and put it right next to our pillar like we did before. But there you go, look at that. It actually treated these negative space voxels as being completely transparent and having no data. It doesn't chop out anything from our pillar. And it's a pretty powerful way of doing things, and it's pretty cool. I'm so glad these guys found it because I was scratching my head on how to figure this stuff out. I've done designs like this where I wanted to have some sort of outline around something that I've sculpted. And when I went ahead and copy and pasted something I sculpted like this, and then put it in the middle, on top, or around this, it would just start cutting into my voxels, and I didn't like that. So that's pretty much the most basic way of using Zero Data Voxels. And next up, I'm going to show you how you can not just keep this nice and blocky, but how you can have a nice, smooth design. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. All right, now that we've got our Zero Data design here, I want to smooth this guy out. But I still want to maintain the benefits of Zero Data Voxels. So how do we do that? So basically all I did was I selected this guy here, and I copy and pasted it, and then pasted it up a few times, because I want to smooth this out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to select this entire guy. That looks pretty good. And we'll come over here with our smooth tool. We'll smooth it down a bunch of times so it looks pretty decent. Yeah, I guess that'll do. And then I'll just pick a slice out of it, a 1 voxel in height slice. There we go. I'm going to paste this guy now. Now we've got a nice smooth ring here. We'll just plop this right here for now. That looks pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is make another canvas, another healed canvas, but I'm going to put it upright this time. I found that having this upright is a little bit easier to deal with instead of leaving it on the ground. I'm just going to do something like this. And that's way bigger than what we need, but it'll do for now. And again, I'm going to use the heal tool. I'm going to make this healed wall. So this is basically going to be using the inlaid pattern technique that I showed earlier. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select our default circle here that's all chunky. I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to rotate it over. I'm going to make sure I put this smack in the middle of this healed wall here. There we go. Now I'm going to take my healed, actually this isn't healed, now I'm going to take my smooth circle, I'm going to select this entire guy. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. And just like that inlaid pattern idea, I'm going to put 1 copy in front and 1 copy behind. And the reason I like doing it this way is because when I put my original design inside this wall, it gives me a target of something to line up to. So I'm going to rotate it and then I'm going to translate this guy down. I'm going to try to make this nice and snug here. There we go. That looks like it's nice and flush. So we'll go one out. And you can see already it's already been updated in the middle. And we'll go 1 behind. And there we go. So both sides look cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select that middle slice. I'm not worried about the selection being precise because again, all this stuff outside of what we designed is going to be empty air pretty much. So I'm going to go copy and I'm going to paste. And then we're going to go around our pillar here. I'm going to shift tab this guy. And then we're going to paste. So let's go up a little bit so you guys can see this better. And there we go. Now not only do we have our Zero Data Voxel design, but now it's also smoothed out. And then we don't have that cutout problem we had before if we had just built this in the world without using the Zero Data Voxel technique. So I'm really loving this technique. I'm so glad these guys found it and shared it with everybody. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and it can be extremely powerful in doing all kinds of sculptures. Also, as a side note, if I go ahead and copy and paste this guy again, see, I've already got it in memory. So I'm going to come over here to, let's see. Well, let's just do it in the floor here. So if I paste this into the floor, make sure it's nice and flush, you can start making some really cool wall and ceiling designs. If I had tried to do this, let's just try and do it now with this, even though it's not smooth, you guys can get the idea. If I tried doing this with something I designed in the world without using the Zero Data Voxel technique, we're not going to get that, we're not going to get this nice and flush. I'll translate that down, and there you go. You can see the difference. This is something I sculpted in the world, and this is something I sculpted with the Zero Data Voxel technique. And what the engine does is actually cuts away all the negative space, even though it looks transparent to us. And you'd think that all this negative space in here would be negative space when you pasted it, but unfortunately the engine doesn't behave like that. Alright folks, that'll about do it for this episode. Once again, I'd like to thank Addy and Spoodyman for sharing this technique with all of us. Please feel free to stop by the forum post and check out their video as well. As always, folks, if you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe. And if you have a question, feel free to leave one in the comment section below. Until next time, everybody, take care.